All right, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a good day. It's been a busy day on this end here. I didn't realize I was going to get two videos out today, but this one is very important. So if you have anybody that you know that lives in the Atlanta area, I want you to share the link to this video to them and tell them that they absolutely need to watch this video, okay? All right, this is really that important. You know, I'm not trying to overhype anything at all. I'm being very, very serious. And we need to get the word out about what's going on down in Conyers, Georgia, as much as we possibly can. We know we got the distraction of the elections going on right now. We got the distractions of some of these other things that are going on right now. But what we're talking about, once we look at this thing closely, you're going to see exactly why I'm really being adamant about why this is so important. And then, like everything else that we try to do on this platform, we're not going to just talk about the problem, but we're also going to provide you with some solutions, okay? Some practical things that you can do. I already got my list out here right now, specifically for the people who are at ground zero at this location in this Georgia suburb of Conyers, Georgia, okay? So again, if you know anybody, friends, family member, even if it's you, anybody that you know that live in the Atlanta area, I need you to share this link with them. They need to be watching this video, all right? And even if they don't have time to watch it at this second, that's okay, because the video will still remain up and they can just come back and watch it later. But this particular thing that we're going to be talking about, time is definitely going to be of the essence, because the longer this thing drags, what's going to happen is that people are just going to become complacent. And it's not going to be, and just people just say, whatever. Okay. But no, this is really a very serious thing. And then we're just going to go ahead and get started, because I know it's still early Saturday for a lot of people. And, you're still getting your thing going for the weekend and all that. And I get it. But this right here is extremely important. Okay. So we're going to dive in and go ahead and get started. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this particular special broadcast that we have going on. And yes, this is it's been breaking news. And like I said, again, I'm not one to overhype stuff or anything like that. But this right here is very, very, very important. If you watched the live broadcast that we did yesterday, one of the stories we covered, we talked about what was going on, the aftermath, or a little bit of the aftermath of the fire that took place at the chemical lab in Conyers, Georgia. And many of you remember that story when it broke out. And, I remember even posting it somewhere, I forgot where. And one of the comments I got, and when me posting that, people were saying, oh, it's just chlorine. We swim in it in our swimming pools like it was no big deal. And I said, no. This is chlorine, but it's not even, it's more than that. This is chlorine that's been lit. It's on fire. The smoke of it. Chlorine ain't designed to do that unless you're trying to kill somebody. Okay. And, and this is why a lot of swimming pools, a lot of people who have swimming pools, they're starting to, they've been over the years been trying to move away from chlorine. Many of us, remember growing up when swimming pools, they used to use chlorine a lot. They still do to a degree, but now they're moving more to a saline or base solution, a salt solution. Because you remember as children, when we were growing up in another time, when we would come out of the swimming pool, what would happen? Our skin would turn white. Well, that's not natural, right? That's those chemicals, right? And so that's not a good thing to have. And so, but chlorine is can be a very, very, very dangerous chemical, especially in conditions like this where it caught on fire, right? And so what we're going to do now is I'm going to flash back to a clip that I played yesterday during our broadcast. And then from there, I have some other things because there is a local politician who was trying to warn the board of this community and tell them, hey, listen, you know, we need to crack down on this company because what they're trying to pull right now, it's, you know, we need to get on this and we need to get on this right now, you know. And so, but then something happened to him days later. Okay, so we'll talk all about that. But right now, what I'll do is let me switch over to this is from the channel, The Last American Vagabond. This clip is about 5 minutes long. We're going to play that so you can kind of hear exactly what's going on. And then we're going to dive into some more specifics on what was going on, what's currently going on as well. Just to give you an idea for those that are just joining us, this, and again, thank you for joining us. Many of you guys remember, was it last year, I believe? Do you remember the train wreck that took place in Ohio? And it was the East Palestine spill, right? And you remember the environmental impact and all that took place, you know, there. And we actually did like a couple of videos where we were talking about that. We were tracking it down. I'm talking about just here on this platform. We were looking at, we were posting wind direction data, what towns were going to be in the downstream and the upstream of that, specifically targeting towns that had a high percentage of black folks. That's what we were doing. We were trying to provide that information, trying to get the word out and telling our people, especially, and anybody else, it don't matter, but we were focusing particularly on our people and letting you know, hey, listen, you need to be paying attention to this. You know, if you notice any of these symptoms, you need to get checked out. When it comes to water, we were providing locations where you can get natural spring water for free in most cases, so that you're not dependent on just the regular water system, because again, they're not going to tell you everything. So we were giving that kind of information as well too. So, but what happened in that East Palestine spill, what took place here in Georgia, in Conyers, what they're saying is it is 6 times worse. Now, I want you to stop and think about that for a second. Now, you remember all the press that whole spill got? It got a huge amount of press. This is 6 times worse. And how often have you heard in the last 24, 48 hours, or even more, have you heard of any news platform talking about this? Well, we're going to look at the data too, and it's going to give us a big clue as to why this ain't being talked about like it should. All right. So let me play this audio first. Again, this is from The Last American Vagabond. He's been on top of this like a lot of, you know, some other people as well. And let's take a listen to what he's saying on this. OK, so let's go.
Here's the show we just did. This was on October 2nd. So as always, I like to point out, demonstrating our value, that there's very few people even now who are talking about this story. And I think this is, I mean, if we're going to talk about East Palestine, this one's far more damaging in the context of what the real risk, I think, is. So as always, this is, I think, it's not because it's partisan or because I think it's going to get clicks. It's because I felt it was important. And right now, clearly, this is not what everyone's talking about. So I just want to make you, if you're looking for people that are willing to cover what they think is important, even though it's not the big topic of the day, well, TLAV is for you. Major dioxin risk in Georgia, East Palestine 2.0. Well, it turns out I was correct. And that was my opinion at the time. And that was based on the research that I looked at and the science. And turns out, as Scott C. Smith has just tested, that we're in this realm yet again. Now this, by the way, the same one I used for today, these two are from, that's Lebanon. That's, which one was that? Maybe Gaza? I forget. Well, they're either Lebanon or Gaza. This one was from Georgia. Now, as even Jordan says in his video with Scott, we'll play in a second, yeah, it sure does look like East Palestine, but it's not. And I've already bumped up against this, where we're talking about this on Twitter. And I pointed out, oh my God, look at this, it's crazy. And somebody underneath goes, yeah, Tim Pool covered this last year. I said, well, he must be a magician, seeing as how this happened a few days ago. My point is that people are conflating this with East Palestine because it looks like that. And maybe that's kind of the point. And maybe that's why the corporate media seems to be ignoring this entirely. But as Brad Nitz pointed out on the 2nd, when I covered this, I've been digging through the air quality data from last night. He said he found chlorine 22 times higher than action level. So that alone, and this is the day after. So that alone, mind you, is wildly dangerous. And we're talking about the test that they showed you saying something different. I think that's pretty concerning. The point is that that's just the chlorine. The unburned chlorine, which I'm going to get to again, is far less dangerous than the risk of dioxin because of this being burned alongside the stuff that was in there. So I just want to make sure that's clear. The problem already was dangerous, and they know this, guys. I'll prove it to you for the 45,000th time, for however many times we've covered this, showing the article from 1990 or 95, talking about the risk and how dangerous it was. Now we know it's everywhere, and they didn't do anything. Now here we are yet again. And I think the point is that they know they don't know what to do. As they'll tell you, as we've discussed, they don't know how to get rid of this. Even the highest burning incinerator we have at the highest temperature, the studies show that they still argue it does not get removed. And that's why I made the point during East Palestine that they were knowingly moving it and only spreading dioxins all over the East Coast. And I'm right. I mean, I've proven this. I've spoken to them on the phone. I spoke to Clear Harbors, which was the place that they were using, Clean Harbors. As Scott Smith himself pointed out, is sort of there's sort of a big open secret there. Clean Harbors Waste Disposal Ohio scandal. I have them on the phone twice in multiple locations asking them, are you able to deal with dioxins or PFAS? No. And the point is that they're going to places where they're burying it. And they know that they can't deal with either because neither are actually able to be removed for the most part based on the studies that I've seen. And even the ones that they're going to don't even have an incinerator for most cases. So it's not even beginning to get removed. So my point is, here we are with the position again, where just the chlorine itself being out there is dangerous, but how much was burned and how much is going around because of the chlorine, which creates dioxin, which TCDD being the most dangerous, which is what we're discussing, it goes states across. And I'll show you the science. I'll show you how obvious it is and how they know that and how they're actively, back to the point I was making, is that they don't know how to handle it. Because if you can't remove it, I mean, let's make this really clear in my opening point, sort of. I think that they have a problem that they've identified. And that's PFAS is the same conversation where they go, okay, we see it's a problem, but we don't know how to do anything about it. So we could stop. I mean, really what they should have done immediately was stop any production that creates this. Boom, just like that. No more chlorine, no more anything. We can't allow it. It's killing us. Or PFAS, but they don't. They just keep letting it happen while they investigate for 30, 40 years, which is whatever you want to frame it as. My point is, if you know it's a problem, if you recognize dioxins are everywhere and you don't know how to solve that problem, what do dishonest people do? Well, they just stop talking about it. Governments who are more, like with North Carolina, more interested in bureaucracy, liability removal, and money. So we've jumped forward decades where this problem's existed. No one talks about it, even though it continues to get worse. Then things like this happen in East Palestine. They're like, dioxin? And either they don't know, which is even more terrifying, or they do, and they're not telling you that. So I think they're at a point where they just are covering their butts.
I'll just stop it there. So again, like what he's saying here, the risk of dioxin exposure in Georgia, and specifically Conyers is in Rockdale County, which is pretty much in Atlanta, for the most part, is 6 times higher than it was after the East Palestine chemical spill. Air quality data shows chlorine levels are at 22 times higher than the action threshold, and oxygen levels are dangerously low, below 19.5. Now we're going to break it down, so that you can see all of this, because I know for some of this you may not really get all of this and whatever, but we're going to get through, because I'm going to show you some other stuff too. All right. Let me go ahead and get out of this here. So as you see on the screen, again, if you know anybody that's in the Atlanta area, I need you to share this link to this broadcast. All right. Share this link to this broadcast and tell them that they must watch this thing. All right. We're not overhyping anything here. This is extremely serious, because if there isn't immediate action to this now, they're going to experience some long-term effects to their health. All right. We got too much. We got access to too much technology, starting with our own phones, for us to be still ignorant in 2024. All right. So we cannot be ignorant to these things. All right. So anyway, let me go to, let's see, where can I, let me share this with you here. Oh, let me first tell you about what happens when a person is exposed to the smoke from a fire that's being fueled by chlorine. Okay. So let's go through this. And then, like I said, again, I got several clips I'm going to be sharing with you. All right. So the first thing is chlorine gas forms. When chlorine burns, it turns into chlorine gas, which is toxic. When you breathe it in, it can react with water in your lungs, nose, mouth to create a substance similar to bleach. Okay. That's what happens. Your lung is full of water. Well, it's water, not like it's drowning, but our creator made it where it's a good balance of that. All right. But what happens is when that gas gets into your lungs, this is what happens. They said when you breathe it in, it can react with water in your lungs, nose, and mouth to create a substance that's similar to bleach. What's number 2? Irritation and damage to airways. The chlorine gas irritates your respiratory system. This means it can cause a burning feeling in your throat, nose, and lungs. It can also lead to coughing, wheezing, and trouble breathing because it inflames the airwaves. And we got a testimony from a woman right in that area that was just recorded, and she's describing this. Okay. Number 3, and I'll play that in a little bit. Fluid in the lungs and a pulmonary edema. In severe cases, chlorine can cause your lungs to fill with fluid, making it hard for your body to get enough oxygen. This can happen quickly or hours after exposure. Number 4, other symptoms. You might also experience eye irritation, skin burns, and a burning sensation in your nose or mouth. Some people might feel nauseous or dizzy. All right. The next one, inflammation. Chlorine exposure can cause inflammation in the lungs and airways, making it more difficult to breathe normally. This irritation can last for hours or even days. And then they say the long-term risk, number 6, if the exposure is severe or prolonged, there can be lasting damage to the lungs, which might lead to chronic breathing issues over time. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what I'm talking about. We have to break out of the mindset that we need the government or Mr. White Man to make this a big issue, because they're not going to make this a big issue. And you're going to also see you got black folks who are in government. They're not going to make it an issue, because if they make it into an issue, that means their job is at stake. And this is what we got to understand. We got to break out of this stuff. You are all you got, and you have to see this as such. Because if you sit on this now and you just relax, then give it a few years. For some, they're going to end up in a hospital somewhere because they didn't take this serious. All right. So anyway, let's go. So a few years ago, or not a few years ago, sorry about that. This was recently. There was a local politician, a black man, older black man, who basically, his name is, where is it right here? Just had it. Kenny Johnson. There you go. Kenny Johnson. He's was the Rockdale County Water and Soil Superintendent. And what he did was he went, he provided testimony against this biolab at the Georgia Capitol, requesting a federal investigation, because that's how strongly he felt about his findings. Now, I want you to listen to his testimony on this, and because I downloaded it, let me get it here for you. I want you to hear his testimony, and then I'm going to tell you what happened. Let me get the volume up here, And here we go. This is testimony is about a little over 4 minutes long.
Thank you for inviting me. I am the state representative for Solid Water Conservation. I'm the first black man to be elected to this position since 1937, since creation of solid water. I worked in the field like this before, and kept my breath. But this company is called COD. What I mean is, it's a chemical oxygen demand. They treat their own water. And chemicals that they keep on property, sulfuric acid, MIBK, that will kill you. Everybody in Rockville County needs to go to the doctor and check out the blood for toxin. Please get that out. They need to send me out every time, at least every other month. So, please. Next thing is, I asked for a federal criminal investigation. This is not the first time. It's the second time. I've been asking for this 3 weeks ago to Senator Alsop, Senator Warnock, and Congressman Hank Johnson. All the officers say they were going to do an inquiry and have the DOJ get involved. I had HOA on the phone call with me. 3 weeks later, okay. 3 weeks later, what we have? Fire. But they say it's an accident. Where's the MSDS? Where's the material safety data sheet? Where's the layout of the company? Why the chemical was stored in a dry place? Why they didn't call out foam truck like they did in 2004? But they pour water on the chemical that reacts. How are we going to solve this?
Hold up. I hope y'all hear what I'm saying. Is it someone said there's an echo, a distortion in the I just want to make sure. Let me know in the chat. Can you hear what he's saying? I know the audio isn't the best, but I want to make sure it ain't crap where you just can't hear anything he's saying. So let me know in the chat if at least you can make out what he's saying. All right. Because like I said, I know it's not the best. I just want to make sure it's not crap where you can't understand anything he's saying. Can you understand what he's saying? Just say, yes, I can understand, or say, no, I cannot understand what he's saying. Just put it in the chat for me right quick before I continue. But while I'm waiting for you, because, you know, there's always a delay. Thank y'all. You notice what he just said. With that fire, when that fire broke out, they are supposed to put foam on top of that fire. What these, I was getting ready to say something. What these idiots did is that they put water on it. You don't put water on a chlorine fire. And when they did that, that's what makes this thing worse than what it is. So that's what he was pointing out. So let me go back, because like I said, okay, so thank y'all for, someone said they can hear is a little bit harder, but you can, as long as you can make out, you know, it's fine. All right, so let me go back. I'm going to go back a little bit for the benefit of those who are just coming in, and then I'll play it again, because I might know what you guys are talking about, okay? Hold on, let me go back here, and I know exactly what y'all talking about now. Okay, let me go back. And, you know, I'll just go back to the beginning, okay? For the benefit of those that, you know, you said it was a little bit difficult. Let me go back and then I'll play it again. And this should work. Okay, hold on for a sec.
Thank you for inviting me. I am the state representative for solid water conservation. I'm the first black man to be elected to this position. Since 1937, since the creation of soil and water. I worked in a field like this before, and catch my breath. But this company is called a COD. What I mean is, it's a chemical oxidant demand. They treat their own water. And the chemicals that they keep on property, sulfuric acid, MIBK, that will kill you. Everybody in Rockdale County need to go to the doctor and check out their blood for toxic. Please get that out. They used to send me out every time, at least every other month. So, please. Next thing is, I asked for a federal criminal investigation. This is not the first time. This is the second time. I've been asking for this 3 weeks ago to Senator Alsop, Senator Warnoff, and Congressman Hank Johnson. Both of all the officers say they was going to do an inquiry and have the DOJ get involved. I had the HOA on the phone calls with me. 3 weeks later, okay. 3 weeks later, what we have? Fire. But they say it's an accident. Where's the MSDS? Where's the material safety data sheet? Where's the layout of the company? Why the chemicals wasn't stored in a dry place? Why they didn't call out foam truck like they did in 2004? But they pour water on the chemical that reacts. How are we going to solve this? We need a federal criminal investigation. EPA Region 4 is the worst region in the United States. Look it up. Rockdale County been out of federal compliance for 4 decades. I've been fighting for 6 years. They put a guy on the ballot illegally. He wasn't an incoming. So I'm pulling out warrants now. Yeah, the governor's scared. I've been fighting and been saying that their company was going to explode. No one listened. We got to remove this company out of this community.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, we got one other company that's in there. That's the same way. It's called PRATT. P-R-A-T-T. By 8 o'clock at night, you can smell the chlorine. They handle 1.7 tons of recycled paper. I'm the only one that inspect that. We don't have enough inspectors to go in these companies. They know that. And they're not qualified. They know that. What I'm angry at too is that $850 million of our taxes went to this company to kill us. Y'all are in charge. Y'all elected officials. We need a federal criminal investigation.
All right. Audio should be back here. Okay. And again, my apologies for the audio earlier. I'm glad we was able to get that figured out. So this man, as you just heard, he's been on this thing for a minute. He didn't just show up on the scene after the fire. He was saying literally that I've been on this thing. I've been warning people and telling people what they're doing, the way they're storing these chemicals and what they're doing to this community. It's killing this community. And we need an investigation. Then he started raising hell about this other company he just mentioned. Now, just to give you an idea, let me see where I'm switching devices here. Hold on for a second. For those that aren't familiar, Rockdale County, just so you get the demographics of who's there. Let me get this up on the screen for you. Here we go. Rockdale County, in case you don't realize, 2020, 57, about 57, almost 58% of the county is black or African American versus 26% white. And then it goes down from there. So you're talking a majority black county. I mean, I'm just showing this for the sake of those who aren't familiar with, you know, the Atlanta area, which I don't think is not going to be too many people here. But this is a mostly black county. I'm gonna tell you right now, they ain't pulling this, you know what, in Cobb County. They ain't pulling this stuff going up, you know, further north. They ain't pulling that stuff here. But they'll sure enough do it there. And the local black politicians that he mentioned, he tried to warn them, and they pretty much sat on it. You know what they're doing right now? Buck dancing for Kamala. So this man went and gave a testimony about this situation. Not too long after that, all of a sudden he collapses and he's dead. Now he's gone. Now we're supposed to sit up here and think that somehow that's just kind of sort of, you know, it's just a coincidence. And Lord, let's not get the religious people involved. Because, you know, they're going to be ready to say, well, God needed another water sample in heaven or something. No, go sit down. He gave a testimony going against this biolab, and he's been on it. And then right after the fire, next thing you know, this man dead. So I really don't know what else people need, because we can draw up all these kind of conspiracy theories about everything else and run with them. But here you have a real one in your face right now that's happening right this second. And this right here, you better take very seriously. Because when you go against the wrong people, trust and know they're going to find a way to get rid of you. Someone here said, hold on for a second. I'm just looking at my stuff right here. Someone said, thank you. I know y'all can't really see that. She said, thank you for covering this story. I live 10 miles away, and our household has experienced breathing difficulties, headaches, and skin irritation. Thank you for sharing that, because there's other people just like this sister here that have experienced similar things as well. So symptoms like that as well. But like I said, we're not going to just talk about it. We've actually put together some basic solutions on what you can do in the immediate. The long term, that advice I'm going to give, it's going to be a hard one, but you're going to have to really sit down. It's going to require a family meeting with that one, and when I get to that one. All right. So stick around. And like I said, we're not just talking about this. We want to lay out some real solutions on what people can do who live in this area, what you can do to help your situation in the immediate. The long term, it's going to definitely require a higher level of commitment to that. Okay. So we'll get to that in a moment. But this is something that, yes, we must take extremely, extremely serious. So like I said earlier, if you know somebody that's in the Georgia area, or I'm sorry, in the Atlanta area, tell them they need to tune in to what we're talking about right now. Okay. Tell them they need to tune in. This ain't me trying to hype anything up at all. I'm just being straight up. Okay. Phone in the area. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. I'm just trying to make sure I got all my stuff together here before I drop the next clip here for you. All right. Let me scroll up here and get to this next one here. Okay. So let me just show you this one here. because they got scientists, they got real scientists out here right now doing water tests and all this stuff here. They're doing this right. They've been doing this. All right. So let me share this with you. It says, where we found a dead frog, we sampled the retention pond within 1,500 feet of the biolab. Ongoing smoldering. Now, this was posted. Let me see when they posted this. This was posted October the 8th. We're at October the 12th now. Okay. So as of the 8th, this thing was still smoldering. Okay. They said, let me go back again. It says, where we found a dead frog, we sampled the retention pond within 1,500 feet of this biolab. Ongoing smoldering fire in Conyers, Georgia. This is important because it is as close to ground zero as we could get to test for the baseline of the chemicals from the biolab fire. We can then compare chemicals as we find deposited into residence properties with the baseline close to ground zero. We'll be testing for dioxins, polycyclic, whatever you see it, hydrocarbons and other semi-volatile organic compounds and more. It appears as of now, the EPA is not doing any testing and is allowing biolabs to do their own testing. Let me read that again for you. Let me read this again for you today. Okay? This ain't a movie. This is real. Okay? This should get you mad. Now, according to what they're saying here again, he says this. It appears that as of now, the EPA is not doing any testing and allowing biolabs to do their own testing. This is literally a page out of every movie about communities that have been poisoned by big companies. So how do you think the test results are going to come back when they do it? So this independent testing will help the community understand exactly what dangerous chemicals may be flowing from the biolab fire into the surrounding water and air. And he said, never forget, you can't find what you don't look for. So this is them right now. This is a team that's going down here, and they're actually doing their own sampling in the area. Now, if y'all remember our coverage when we were showing you what happened in Ohio during the East Palestine spill, this was some of the same stuff they were happening. They start finding all these dead animals and stuff along in the water. Fish that's showing up all over the place, and they try to pass it off. Well, you know, it's just things just happen like that. No. Anytime you have something like that, man-made disaster like that happens, the animals, nature is going to be the first thing that's going to react to it. All right. So let me move on to the next thing here. And again, like I said, if you know anybody that's in this area, tell them that they definitely need to tune in to this broadcast. All right. Let's see here. Let me see. I'm just trying to find what else I got here. Okay. So this is a woman here. I'll play this one. So this is a woman who lives in the area. She says she's 25 minutes away. Now, the sister that just said, she said, how far is she? Hold on for a second. Let me see how far she said. She says she's 10 miles away. Now, this woman, she actually lives further than you, according to this. Now, I want you to listen to what she's saying. And this is why I'm saying that we got to definitely take this serious. Okay? So let me put this up here and you can hear from right from her. Okay? Let's go ahead and play this.
And your sister, you posted this on Twitter, but she went to the doctor and pretty alarming. Sore throat, acute pharyngitis, periodic chest pain, and chlorine gas exposure.
Yes.
The doctor diagnosed her with.
Mhm.
If you add what else they said, there is no specific antidote for chlorine inhalation. Avoid further exposure to the gas by leaving the contaminated area. Stay indoors. Flush eyes and mucous membranes if you are having current symptoms. Shower to remove chemicals on the skin. Remove exposed clothing. And albuterol inhaler may be helpful. Your symptoms have gotten worse as the week has gone on. You also, correct me if I'm wrong, had a bloody nose.
I did yesterday morning. I woke up, felt like my nose was stuffy. That like same sensation, blew my nose, and it was blood. There wasn't snot; it was blood in my tissue. So that's abnormal for me. That's never happened unless I have like an illness at the time, and so it just was very alarming. And last night I had what felt like a mild asthma attack. I have activity-induced asthma, and so when I have asthma attacks, it's typically because I'm like running super fast and hard. And honestly, I haven't had to use my inhaler in about 2 years. Like I felt like I had grown out of a lot of my asthma symptoms. But last night I felt that like same rattling in my chest that I used to feel when I would go for a run and didn't use my inhaler beforehand. So yeah, symptoms are clearly worsening for me. I guess just the length of exposure at this point has bothered my lungs and nasal passages and sinuses and everything else. So yeah, it's really scary that that's the messaging that they're pushing forward. I feel like it's just a situation where, I don't know, it feels like a horror movie waiting to happen. Like in 10 years down the line, I am terrified to see the results of this long-term exposure that we're having.
Yeah, it is a horror movie. She's exactly right. It is a horror movie, and it's happening now. It's absolutely happening right now. And Wynea, you're right. You know, when that chemical, and that's what for those that are just joining us, I talked about what happens to the body. What happens to the body when you are exposed to this chemical? I'll just run through that again. Okay, so for people to understand what happens to your body. And like I said, we're just going to continue to talk about this situation here. I got a few more things I'm going to show you, but then we're going to get to the part of this broadcast where we're going to actually provide you with some basic solutions. Okay, some very basic solutions. And but ultimately, then we're going to move into, then we'll talk about, as residents, what are some suggestions you should do as a resident now. But then we're going to talk about the long term. Okay, what should happen? Okay. All right. So let me go through the list again. When you are exposed to this kind of activity, all right. Number one, they said chlorine gas forms when chlorine burns. It turns you into chlorine gas, which is toxic. When you breathe it in, it can react with water in your lungs, nose, and mouth to create a substance similar to bleach. So that burning sensation that you feel when you breathe, for some of you who are in that area, and you may have noticed, I feel this little burning sensation in my chest. That's it. That's exactly what it is. Your body is always constantly talking to you. So if you live in that area and you've been experiencing at any level a burning sensation in your chest, that's this chemical. All right. Number two, irritation and damage to the airways. That's what she was just talking about. The chlorine gas irritates your respiratory system. It means that it can cause a burning feeling in your throat, your nose, and your lungs. It can lead to coughing, wheezing, and trouble breathing because it inflames the airwaves. That's exactly what she's talking about. And if you heard what she just said, what did she say? She said, I haven't had to use my inhaler in 2 years. Now all of a sudden I feel like I need to use it again. See, your body is always seeking to improve itself. It's always fixing itself. Do you understand what I'm saying? Your body always will tilt. A healthy body will always try to tilt to health, to being healthy. You got to help it. But, you know, at the end of the day, when you're asleep, your body's repairing itself, right? That's what's happening. But in this case here, what happens is this stuff begins to take away the ability for your body to do that. All right. Other symptoms, let me see. They say in severe cases, chlorine can cause your lungs to fill with fluid, making it hard for your body to get enough oxygen. This can happen quickly or hours after exposure. The next one, they said other symptoms, you might experience eye irritation, skin burns, and a burning sensation in your nose or your mouth. Some people may feel nauseous or dizzy. Again, if anybody at the sound of my voice or you're watching this video, if you have experienced any of this, you need to get checked out. You need to get checked out. Okay? You need to get checked out because they need to get this all on record. Okay? You need to check with the county and find out, hey, listen, this is what I've been experiencing. Do you guys have some kind of record where you can check this in that I'm experiencing this? Because see, the more people the county hears from, the more they can go and make this a whole case if they need to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? But if you don't speak out and you just kind of feel like, well, shoot, I just got to go to work, and I ain't got time for all of that, then they're not going to be, they're going to say, well, we just got this guy yelling on YouTube and don't even live down there anymore. What else? You know what I'm saying? So your voice is very important on this, right? Don't just assume that just because you got black folks running your county that they're going to be right on top of it. No, those black folks, first and foremost, they're trying to preserve their jobs. Okay. So you can't assume anything. You got to be proactive with this. But anyway, let me move on. Let me see what else. Inflammation, chlorine exposure can cause inflammation. And okay, we already read that. Long-term risk. If the exposure is severe or prolonged, there could be lasting damage to the lungs, which might lead to chronic breathing issues over time. Okay. Juanea says something else too. I remember that. She said it's similar to mixing bleach with ammonia. You can't breathe it because it's a chemical imbalance and it's too strong. One time I made the mistake in doing that. I was cleaning my bathroom. I was home for my lunch break and I called myself cleaning the bathroom and I took bleach and ammonia. I don't know why I did this and put it and mixed it together. Next thing I've never felt like I was going to pass out, but that particular time it hit me so hard. I was wobbling. And I immediately knew, I was like, oh, it has something to do with this. And so I poured it in the toilet and I could just see this. It was like the chemical steam just coming up. Nobody was home. That was very scary. So these chemicals were there. And so what these clowns did, instead of putting a foam over it, like this man said, he said they just put water on it. You don't put water on that because when you put water on it, it makes it worse. Okay. All right, let me go back here and see what else, other things that I had bookmarked here. And
it is normal to smell chlorine gas.
Let me just play this here because I don't know what this one is, but let's just see what she's saying here. Is this it here? Yeah. We'll just play a few more minutes of what she's saying here, okay?
His verbiage, I'm sure, was a mistake, but just hearing that out loud just sounds very wild to me. But yeah, we definitely can't leave. Our jobs are not shutting down. My sister works at a school and they have outdoor playtime a lot, which is another reason I think she's experiencing such severe symptoms.
To be clear, they're still sending kids outside.
That's right. Even my daughter's school, thankfully my daughter's been out this week because she's been sick, but her classmates have been outside all week. They sent home a notice on Tuesday, which was basically just a screenshot of the emergency notification we got from the city. And they said that the city said it's fine. Everything's okay. Everything's at normal levels. Let us know though if your child has asthma and we'll keep them in. But every other child is currently playing as normal, at least in DeKalb County. I know Rockdale County is virtual this week because of a holiday, or they're virtual next week, and right now they're out this week. And Rockdale County is where the actual fire is happening. But DeKalb County is in school, and they're still playing outside, and yeah, going on about as usual.
I want to get into, because it's just alarming to me.
Mhm.
You said you found out about this from Twitter.
Yeah.
So it seems like the media somehow wasn't reporting this right away, or your local government wasn't communicating. Then you're telling me your sister's doctor didn't know much about it. So it seems strange to me that you would have this chemical plume and this massive fire affecting not just like Conyers, where the plant fire happened, but as we speak, reports are the plume is still over Atlanta, a major American city. I've seen messages from people in Alabama that they're smelling chlorine. So this is a major disaster, yet you didn't know about it unless you went on Twitter. The doctors don't seem to know about it. And you got, you were describing that alert, which I think is this, which I talked about earlier in the week. Georgia's version of FEMA sent out this note. People got it on their phones. They mentioned the EPA is monitoring, and they said chlorine and related compounds they're looking for. They failed to mention chlorine gas, which is important. If you don't know, that was used in World War I as a chemical weapon. And these chemical levers are unlikely to cause harm to most people. So I guess you fall under that. You're not most people, which is pretty ableist if you ask me. First of all, 8 to 10% of Americans have asthma. That's probably an undercount, not to mention other illnesses or other immune issues.
And not to mention, I'm glad he mentioned this, not to mention asthma cases. Asthma is very high amongst Black Americans. It's very high. When you, in comparison to other groups, asthma is it's significantly high amongst Black Americans. In a county that's almost 60% Black. And they're saying, it ain't going to really bother them.
Issues that can be activated or triggered by chlorine gas in the air. Even if you don't have an autoimmune issue, it's going to irritate you. But what do you think about that? Went out like within, I believe, 48 hours. I read it as nothing to see here. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
When doesn't seem everything's fine.
That's right. So had I not had the symptoms and not already had the awareness that I have about governments and how they handle disasters like this, I would have seen that message and just gone about my day. I know my parents kind of did that, or my dad, at least. My dad hasn't experienced any symptoms, and he saw the notice and was just kind of like, okay, like, I guess that means we're good. And again, my daughter's school took that message the same way, like, okay, it's unlikely to harm anyone, so no need to change what we're doing. So yeah, it's really scary that that's the messaging that they're pushing forward. I feel like it's just a situation where, I don't know, it feels like a horror movie waiting to happen. Like in 10 years down the line, I am terrified to see the results of this long-term exposure that we're having. So yeah, just very, very scary that that's the messaging that they're pushing forward.
And then let me just say this, and I'll move away from that, but let me just say this too. Okay, I must say it in a way where you guys will know what I'm talking about. If you took, you know what I'm talking about, right? You definitely need to get checked out. All right. Because the things that we have talked about and other platforms as well, as far as your immune system is concerned, need I say anything else? Need I say anything else? Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. You fill in the blanks on that one, okay? Because, every time I go there on this platform, they ready to snatch something off in a minute, okay? So you put together those pieces there and we'll keep it moving. Let me see what else I had here. And then we're going to get into the solutions part of this broadcast. Okay. So just give me a moment here. I'm just going through what I had. Let's see. I don't know what this is. I'll just play this. I don't know exactly what this is. I just bookmarked it. I don't know what's going on here. Hold on. Oh man, there's a lot of stuff here. Hold on. One of the things they talked about too is, and I'm just going through my my bookmark list here. Someone said, my friend who lives 13 miles from the biolab texted me moments ago that most of her bees died. This is the same thing that happened in East Palestine. They say it completely wiped them out. When you know, that's one of the first signs when you know something is really off. The first thing you look at, like I said, is you look at nature, and bees are literally the first ones to go. Let me see what else I have here. Okay, I'll just put this up. I'm just going through because it's a ton of stuff here, and I'm trying to condense it for y'all. This is what they put out for the residents of Rockdale County. These are some of the suggestions that the local government put out. This is the chemical event guidance for the agricultural community. They said protect your pets, livestock, if you like you protect yourself. Basically cleaning your hands. They were talking about that you had some residents complaining, pointing out that it was like a black debris. If you notice like a black debris that happened, on that day and a few days after, you just notice that on your car or whatever, they said that's from the roof that was on fire. But if it's from a chemical plant and you touched it, well, again, you need to make sure you wash very good. When they talk about animal feed, they saying that if it's been exposed, basically you need to throw it out. Same thing with unpackaged foods. They're saying basically throw all that stuff out. Now here they're saying for beekeepers, report any acute deaths from hives. And, so for the bees, there's a protocol for the bees if you're having something. But, what about the people? That's what I want to know. Because the people need to have something where they can put something together as well. Where they can have some kind of centralized reporting system as well. Let's see. So again, for those that are in my silence, I'll just repeat some of the things there. So as of now, what it seems like is that this biolab, they are taking the lead in doing their own investigation. So how that's going to go. Someone on Facebook is saying, I'm just going down the list here. They're saying that people have been mentioning that their pets have been developing respiratory symptoms. Some of the pets have actually been throwing up. And then you have a farmer that's saying that he raises chickens down there. And some of his chickens, he said he just going to have to, take them out because they have been experiencing some major problems too. Okay, I'm still looking here. Okay, so this is a map here. I'll put this up on the screen here. Okay, so this is the area, and I know it's very, very tiny, but they're saying this is like the impacted area. What I'm telling you is basically all Rockdale County and anything surrounding that. That's what I'm telling you. All right. So they're looking at, I'm trying to see that it's off the 20. I know that. Let me see. I can't quite make out that the name of that street, but it's off the 20. But this is the main area. This is like the ground zero area. But you also got to keep in mind too, wind currents and stuff, and and it does carry stuff like you just heard earlier. So in Alabama, people in Alabama have been complaining about waking up and smelling that stuff. So that's just ground zero. All right, yeah, this is the video I bookmarked. Let me go back and play this. I don't know what he's saying, but let's see what they're saying.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chairman Nesbitt. I'm the chairman of the county. Let me first say that economic development for Rockdale County is just as important as public safety. Good afternoon.
I gotta get the context of what he's saying on that. Okay, I'm just looking through right quick here. It's a lot of stuff here. Now, what was interesting, someone pointed this out. Rockdale County Emergency Management, they posted this on the day of the fire. It's spooky season, but preparing for a disaster doesn't have to be scary. Visit ready.gov to learn more about how to build a communications plan for your household. And then they came back and said, oops, well, that was actually it was a pre-scheduled post. Yeah. Anyway, let me see what else I have here. And I think we're getting ready to transition now to, the solutions part of this. Okay. We're going to get more to that part in a moment here. Let me just see what else I had. And if you're just joining us, go back to the beginning of this broadcast, because I had some other stuff that I showed here too that you're going to definitely need to see on your own. Okay, here is another video. This was, I don't know when this was captured. This is, they said the morning, I think after. Okay, so that post, they said was posted on the 8th. That wasn't the day of the fire. The day of the fire, I think, was back in, what was it? It was earlier than that. But the timing of it is still kind of crazy, isn't it? But anyway, let me share this with you right quick. All right, so this is helicopter view. This is over Rockdale County. Look at all that smoke. Now, this is after the initial fire, the following day. Look at that. It's still spreading. They just let it burn. All right, just to give you an idea. Okay. Trying to see if I had anything else. Okay, that's it. Yeah, that was the main stuff there. Okay, but don't go anywhere. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some of the solutions. Okay, really quick here. Let's get into that. So what are some things that you should be focused on? What are some things you should be doing if you are a resident of this area? If you are in this area, what are some things that you should be focused on? Someone said, I live in Covington. Yeah, I know where that is. And I know for a fact it affected us here. We are only a few exits off of the highway from that company. I know exactly where Covington is. That's why I said, if anybody you know in the Atlanta area, they need to be watching this. Okay, so what are some basic things that you should be doing? I'm talking, we're gonna just take this slow. All right. So number one, if you live in that area and if you live in that area, period, not if you, well, I didn't really feel anything. You need to do the following. Okay, so let me see what I have here. So one of the things I mentioned is get your car washed. All right, you need to go and get your car washed, because you know how, for my Atlanta folks, in the fall when that pollen, oh no, it's in the spring. Sorry about that. In the spring, that pollen is a beast. And you wake up in the morning, it's like all on top of your car. Well, we're not in that season now. Now we apparently in chemical season, right? So what you need to do is you need to make sure you get at least the exterior and the interior, for that matter, of your car washed, because that leftover from that fire, I assure you, if you haven't gotten your car washed since, it's on your car. So you need to get your car washed, both the outside and the inside. You need to do that ASAP. That's number one. Number two, you need to also focus. You need to all the filters in your home, all the air filters in your home, you need to replace them. Okay, let me say that again. All the filters in your home, the air filters, you need to go ahead and get them replaced. All right. And so what kind of filters you get is the high efficiency particulate air, the HEPA filters. So make sure it says HEPA on it. They said these filters are great for capturing small particles, but they may not be sufficient for gases like chlorine. But you still need to filter it. You still need to replace it. Okay. Another thing they said, activated carbon filters. This type of filter is excellent for trapping gases, chemicals, and odors. It can absorb chlorine gas and help neutralize it for homes exposed to chlorine. Fire smoke filters with activated carbon or charcoal is recommended. So any kind of good air filters that you may have on, in addition to that, you need to get that in your home. All right. I'm not saying you got to go thousands and thousands of dollars into this. OK, I'm not saying that, please. What I am saying is these are just the basics. We're just covering the basics. That's all we're doing. They say combination filters, some high end air purifiers and HVAC filters combine HEPA and activated carbon filtration, which would give you the best protection by removing both particles and gases. So, and you may also want to look in getting one of those, air filters, for the room. There's, like we have one, we bought it on Amazon, and I'm not saying you got to go very high end, but you definitely going to want to invest in that in the very near future. Okay. You're definitely going to want to invest in that. I know we just had Amazon Prime Day, so I'm sure you missed out on that. But, even with that, you're going to definitely want to invest in getting some type of air filter to put in your bedrooms or wherever you're going to be. OK, you spend the most time. And you want to use those filters that have like the charcoal that's in it, because what that charcoal does, it activates, it acts as like a magnet. It magnetizes those particles together, and it gives you a better, a much cleaner air to breathe inside your home. Okay. So you definitely, those are things you want to do in the very immediate future. Okay. These are things that there's some absolute must. Okay. So now the other thing I would say is this is, you need to check with your county as far as the water quality is concerned. You need to find out, because this I can't answer for you. If you're down there, you need to do this on your own. Okay. You need to find out, you need to call your water company, and you need to find out from them what is their response to this. And do not accept any BS answer from them like everything's under control, stop worrying about it, goodbye. No, sir. No, ma'am. And no, sir. We ain't doing that. No. We know this has an impact on the water supply. What we want to know is there any testing you guys are doing? And when we say testing, we're saying independent testing. All right. Not that, we're just doing it all in-house. No, we ain't accepting that. No, we want to know, is there independent testing that's taking place? All right. Because if there's independent testing taking place, okay, good. Can I get the name of that company? Thank you. I appreciate it. And are they providing us, are they making public their results? And if they say, well, because, sometimes these folks don't even know. They say, okay, fine. I got a name. I can look it up on the internet. I'll do it myself. And then you take the initiative and call them and bring them up to speed on what's going on, and say, okay, you guys are handling the down here in Rockdale, right? They say, yeah, we are. Or in DeKalb, if you're in DeKalb, or some of those other areas, right, in that area where this fire took place. You want to find out, are they testing? How often are they testing? And can you get those results? Where can I get those results? All right. But it must be independent testing. You do not accept under any circumstance any in-house BS. Do not accept that, because if it's going to be an in-house testing, that's just pointless. No, we want independent testing, and we want to see those results. Okay. Now, I don't know, because I'm not a chemist, but I don't know, how long it takes for them to turn that around. But when you're talking about water, that thing needs to be a very quick turnaround, especially when you're talking about something like this. They need to be testing that thing every day, as far as I'm concerned. So you want to find that out ASAP. The next thing you want to find out is what is the county doing in the meantime for water? In other words, if you have concerns as a taxpayer, they should have a contingency program plan in place for something like this. I just showed you earlier, they're finding dead frogs and stuff all around there. I'll be very concerned about that. So there should be bottled water that they're bringing in. The state and the county should have a supply of bottled water that you should have access to. You need to find out where can I pick that up. And if they start goofing off and giving you goofy answers, then you need to take the initiative and you need to start buying your drinking water. At least needs to be bottled water. Okay, it needs to be bottled water. Don't even play. Don't even play. If you're in that area, don't even play. Don't even play with that. That's your drinking water. All right. So you need to switch to bottled water. And when I say bottled water, I ain't talking about you want to make sure you turn that thing in the back, because in the front they'll say, they got, we got it from the top of the mountain in the outbacks of Antarctica or whatever. That's what they put that big old snowy mountain on there, and then you look back on the bottle and they're like, yeah, we bottled it in DeKalb somewhere. No. That don't count. No. You want to make sure that wherever that water was bottled is from far away from where you are right now. All right. You want to make sure of that. My personal preference is, if you're going to get bottled water, make sure it's spring water. Okay. You can go to the dollar store on up. You can go to Big Lots that you can get water there. If you want to do it that way, that's fine. This ain't about get this brand and get that brand. Okay. Even if you get the most expensive one, it still don't matter. Just make sure you get, if you like me, I'll start at the dollar store and clean the whole shelf off. All right. So you want to make sure you drinking water is paramount until you get answers from your water company, from an independent testing. All right. You may even want, if you're renting if you're a renter, you may want to contact the person you're renting and say, hey, listen, I got some concerns. Can you have somebody come here and test the water here? They should cover that. You know what I'm saying? They should be the ones covering that. All right. So if you're renting, I don't care if it's an apartment or if you're renting a house, you need to contact the property owner and you need to tell them, hey, listen, this thing just happened. Can you have somebody come to this house and test this water? And I want to make sure that this water is legit. And then have them come out at least 2 to 3 times over a span of whatever. You determine that, to make sure that your water is straight coming out of that faucet. All right? Because you can't do that. Don't just think, I just thank God I got me a house over my head, roof over my head. I'm just grateful. I don't want to ask him anything else. Oh, you better be asking something, honey. Listen, that's your body. You know what I'm saying? They need to cover that. And they also, need, if you need help or assistance in changing out the filters that I was telling you about earlier, they should be able to help you out with that too. Listen, you paying the rent, aren't you? You better tell them what's up. They probably 10 counties over, just making sure your rent coming in. But you're there. You understand what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that your landlord or whoever, they are doing their part to make sure that your home is safe, because you're paying for that. Okay, you're paying for that. When you signed on the dotted line, you didn't sign to be in some chemical dump. You signed for a home that was safe, and they should be the ones to ensure that that is the case. Because you mess around and y'all get sick up in there. Now you got a lawsuit. Now they're going to have a lawsuit on their hands because they didn't do what they were supposed to do to make sure that your home was safe. Okay? So you want to make sure you're doing that part. All right? You want to make sure that your water, so we covered water, We also covered air filters as well, making sure of that. Your cars even have air filters. You can do it yourself. It's very inexpensive if you do it yourself. Just go to like AutoZone or something like that. And then a lot of times the guys, they'll just do it for you for free. You just, as long as you buy it, just get the air filters all changed out. Now, as far as like wearing a mask, over your face, would I do that? I mean, I'll leave that up to you. If you do decide to do one, make sure you do that N95 one that got the little filter on it or whatever, because that's kind of what that's designed to do. Especially if you're an asthma sufferer, that's probably going to be, you won't be dumb for doing that. Okay. If you're an asthma sufferer and you've been really feeling it and sensing that, there's no shame in you reaching for that mask. Okay. Cause that's what that mask is for. Okay. So that's another one. Like I said, if you get one, make sure you get one N95 one. Don't just get any old one that got, this one looked like it got Michael Jordan on. Nah, don't. N95, okay? Don't go cheap on that, okay? So make sure you get that as well. As far as your windows are concerned, I know it's cooler, so some of y'all may be sleeping with the windows open at night. You may not want to do that, okay? Until you get more information as far as the air quality, you may not want to do that, okay? You want to wait until you get the information you need to make sure that the quality of air in your neighborhood, in your community, is safe enough for you to do that. Okay. So you also want to do that as well. I'm going down the list here of different things here that I want to share with y'all on this. And I'm cutting my eye here as well to the comments and making sure I'm not missing anybody, if anybody had any questions or whatever. Let me see. Fluent in your lungs. Type of filter. Let's see. Okay, so I covered pretty much everything there. Okay, now, what are some herbs? What are some herbs that you should be looking into? All right, that will help your body to expel these chemicals that your lungs have been collecting since this fire. Okay. So I'll just go through the list real quick and then I'll tell you what we're going to be doing here in offering starting tomorrow. All right. Starting tomorrow, we will be offering this. Okay. And when I say this, hear me out on that, because we ain't trying to make a quick buck on that. In fact, we're going to be, my wife and I talked about it. We're going to even discount it. We're going to go the opposite way, because we want to make sure as many people as possible you're able to access it, and we ain't like triple charging on stuff. Okay, so we're not going to do that. We're going the opposite way. All right, so here are the herbs. I'm just going to go down the list of things that if you have it already, great. If you don't have it, you can go maybe in a marketplace, maybe in your neighborhood, in your community, or whoever that sells it. You can do that too. Or you can go to our website, which is sabatree.com. We have some of these, but we're going to try to have all of these, okay, by tomorrow. We should be straight by tomorrow, but we got quite a few of these already in stock. Okay, so mullein, okay, mullen. What's mullein good for? It's known for its ability to soothe the respiratory tract. Mullein can also clear mucus and support lung health. Okay, so that's mullein leaf. Another one is lungworth. All right. This is an herb that helps to promote lung function and can reduce irritation caused by inhaling harmful substances. Again, that's called lungworth. Okay. Burdock root is a powerful detoxifying herb. Burdock root helps cleanse the blood and to flush out toxins from the body. All right, burdock root. The next one is nettle leaf. Rich in antioxidants, nettle leaf supports the body's natural detoxification process and boosts the respiratory health. So that's nettle leaf. Milk thistle, known for supporting liver function. Milk thistle helps the body process and eliminate toxins more effectively. Milk thistle. Ginger. All right, everybody knows ginger. Anti-inflammatory and warming. Ginger helps to reduce inflammation in the lungs and improve circulation, aiding the body in detoxification. All right, so there's a common thread with all of these. You got to expel all of those toxins that your body's been collecting. I'm seeing people saying that they've been experiencing headaches. That's because your body is fighting against what it's been collecting since that fire. All right, that's what is happening. Peppermint helps open the respiratory tract and can ease symptoms of congestion and irritation caused by exposure to chemicals. That's peppermint. All right, and then finally we got licorice root. And licorice root, it has anti-inflammatory properties and supports the lungs by helping to soothe the mucous membranes. All right, so that's the list right there. What we'll do is tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to put together a kit. All right, I don't even know what we're going to call it, but we're going to put together a kit that's going to have most, if not all, of what I just read to you, and we're going to sell it at a discount. And trust me, it will be a discount. All right. We can't give it away for free, but because we got to be able to do something so we can do more of it. Right. But trust me, it will be at a discount. And that will be on our website, which is sambatree.com. Sambatree.com. I have, we just switched over to a new platform. So I was trying to figure out sambatree.com. Hold on. If the email list was set up. I don't know if it's set up yet or not. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Subscribe to our emails. Hold on. Let me just see if it's working. Oh, yeah, it's working. Okay. Let me pull it up on the page here. Let me pull it up on the page, which is right here. So this is our website, sambatree.com. And then what you do is go to the bottom, which is right here. And then you just put your email address there, okay? Because tomorrow we're going to have an email that's going to go out that's going to have all of that information on there. And then also it will have the what we're going to offer for those different herbs. You don't have to buy all of them. You can buy some of them. Some we actually have now, like the ginger and some of the other stuff. Mullein leaf, we have that in stock. Some of those things we actually have now, but what I'm talking about is we want to try to package some of that all together so you can just get one pack. But you'll see that some of the things, if you go through the store, we already have in stock. So you can check that out if you want. But like I say, if you buy it from us, great. We will love that. But my concern is that you get it ASAP. So if it's better for you to go down the street right now and get some of this, then go ahead and do it, honey. Go and do it. We just want to see you get what you need to get. Okay. And a lot of these, you can use it as a tea. I don't know if we have any tinctures with that or not. I'm not sure, but I'll find out and you'll find out tomorrow too. We have our business, which is Samba Tree. We also have a website, YouTube page, which is Samba Tree. If you do a search for Samba Tree here on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to that. And then we'll have some information on that. I may put up a couple of videos that are going to be a lot shorter in length than this one here. I'll probably chop this one up and I'll be uploading key points of this broadcast up onto sambatree.com. So that way, not sambatree.com, to the Samba Tree YouTube page. Okay. I'll upload that so that it'll be a lot easier for you to get that information. And I'll just pull that up as well. So if you're not subscribed to that, I would encourage you to do that because that's where we can delve a little bit more into this health stuff here. So hold on for a second. I'll get that up. Let's see. Tree. Okay. All right, I'll put that up here so you'll see it for yourself here. And let me put this up here. All right, so that's the Samba Tree. This is ours as well. This is the Somber Tree YouTube page. So if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for that as well, because I'll be putting some videos up, on this topic, but it'll be a lot shorter. Okay. This is not our first rodeo when it comes to this stuff, because we also know that there are powers that shouldn't be, that don't like it when we delve too much into the medical stuff. So we got different layers of getting information out to our people very quickly. All right. So you subscribing to that email list, that's going to be very helpful for you to stay in the loop when it comes to this stuff. You subscribing to that YouTube page, that's also going to be very helpful as we continue to track this. Okay. But we also have other platforms where we get into even more details, because this is very concerning when you start bringing the jab into the picture. There are more issues that this raises that I'm not going to be able to discuss on this platform at all, but I will be able to discuss on some of those other platforms. And as long as you're subscribed to the email list, we'll give you the links there, because we got to move just like that. You know what I mean? We got to move with our heads on a swivel when it comes to stuff like that. Because the moment I start diving a little bit too deep into the medical stuff, then that's when they start getting me. And I'm just not going to do that. Okay. You just got to be a little bit smarter. All right. So I think that's all I have for you guys on this particular topic here. But do share the link to this video, to this broadcast, to as many people who are in that area as possible. I cannot stress the importance of this, because what was the last thing I was going to tell you? What was my advice? I said it was one piece of advice that I would personally, you didn't ask for this, but I'm going to give you this. Okay. This is my personal advice. If I lived in that area, based on what we know as of right now, if I lived in that area, I would definitely look into relocating. Okay. Without a doubt. I would not wait for the government to come out and say, okay, everything is clear now, you're safe. No. There's been too many instances in this country, especially when you're dealing with populations where we make up the majority, where it's never just okay. And you'll find out years later that the after effects are still lingering. Okay, please take what I'm saying extremely serious. I'm speaking to y'all like I'm speaking to my mom. I'm speaking to you like I'm talking to my grandma, my auntie, my uncle. Please hear what I'm saying. This is coming straight from here, okay? And I mean this. I wouldn't just say this just to be saying this, okay? I'm not saying, because that's not an easy thing to say, to tell people you need to look into packing up and leaving, because that's not an easy process. Listen, I know. I've moved many times. That's not an easy thing to pick up and just go, because especially when you got ties to the community, you got children in school and all that stuff. I'm not saying you got to, if you can leave ASAP, then do it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to frighten you. I'm just trying to get you to understand that the impact of that fire is going to be long term. Okay. And you're not going to really know the impact until 5-10 years down the road. But by that time, for many people, it's going to be too late. I'm not telling you to move out of state. I'm just saying from that particular area there, you need to get up out of there. Okay. And that's going to require you to have some serious conversations with your family, with whoever's involved. And y'all need to take in all of this, and you need to process this. Because see, it don't take me long to figure how many movies I need to see to realize, oh yeah, this is real. This is happening. You know what I'm saying? And for me to realize, I'm not going to be the guinea pig. And see, listen, if you want to be religious, listen, then do your religion. Okay. But this is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. Beyond your religion, I need you to use your head. Okay. I need you to use your good sense, the sense that our Creator has given you. Okay. I'm pleading with you. Because I know for our religious folks, they'll say, well, honey, listen, God, the Bible says he'll put his angels around and camp around. You know how many people have said that and they still dead? He also said he run through a troop and leap over a wall. And so, you're going to need to do it. He also said he give you hinds feet in high places too, right? There's a reason for that. Okay, so I need you to really take this information, process it. So what we did was we gave you some practical things, basic things you should be doing now anyway. All right. But long term, you need to consider this as well. Okay. Because you're dealing with, this is Georgia. All right. This is Georgia. You're dealing with a county that's almost 60% black folks. And I'm just trying to tell you, they're not going to treat your county like they're going to treat Beverly Hills somewhere. Okay. Don't be the ones that's 10 years down the road they're doing a documentary on and you on a breathing machine. Okay, because you're going to remember me saying this to you. And by that time, it's going to be too late. So that's something that you really need to consider. Don't just cancel what I'm just saying out immediately, but really, really process that and think that through. I know moving is not an easy thing. It's not. But is your health, how valuable is your health of you and your family members, especially if you got older family members? And if you took the, you know what, you definitely without a doubt need to get up. Without a doubt, this don't even need to be a discussion. Okay, so those are things for you to think about. Someone said a person in the ring community comments said her dog died all of a sudden as well. See, will tell you, they'll be the first thing. What she just said, this is what we were talking about in that East Palestine, that spill. This is the same stuff that was happening. This is 6 times worse. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's 6 times worse than that. And you remember how passionate we were about that. This is 6 times worse. Animals just dropping left and right. Someone asked about water purification. For something like this, you could do it if you want, but I would get the test done. And you need to demand that. You need to demand that there's independent water testing. Don't get your cousin in them. Because you know that's what they do. The county needs to do it at their level, and you need to do it at your level in your house. Okay? Now, they do have water testing kits that you can get on Amazon. You could do that if you want. You know what I mean? You could do that if you want. But I want to make sure, see, for me, as long as I can understand what those results mean, get that to me in English. Get that to me in English. Give me all them little particles and stuff like that. I may not understand it, but see, I'll get online and be looking up everything. Okay, so what does this mean? Okay, so is that safe? Okay, cool. Okay, next one. What does that mean? Okay, that's what I do. But you can also get people, you got people who will come to your house and they'll do that as well. Okay? So the county, as a resident, you need to demand, I don't care if you're in Rockdale County where this took place, but also in DeKalb County, which are right next to that, Fulton County, you need to be demanding that they have an independent testing company coming out there and testing their drinking water. And do not let them brush you off of that phone. Do not let them do that. Don't let them talk down on you. You work too hard to pay them freaking bills and pay their paychecks. They need to have independent testing on the county level. And then while they're doing that, you're testing in your home as well, making sure that water is straight. You understand what I'm saying? So you going even before they go. You may get the answer before they do. But just make sure you're doing those two things, because the water is very important, because that will also have an impact on your showers as well. You know what I'm saying? I can't even think, when you're dealing with stuff like this, I mean, there are filters you can get for your shower. You may want to look into that. I didn't really look into that for this broadcast, you know, that will handle that kind of stuff. I don't know. But also, if you notice, if you've been taking showers since then, and if your skin getting ashy all of a sudden, that's a sign that there's something else in that water. Okay, don't just think, oh, I just need some lotion. That's all. No. No, there's something else. There's something else. And like she said, demand it. Demand it. Okay? Don't assume just because you got black government officials that they are looking after your best interests. The number one thing these people are looking after is their own jobs, period. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you're dealing with government folks, I'm telling you right now, the mindset is completely different. I worked at the CDC many years ago. The mindset up in that place, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's a whole nother world. They don't give two craps about other people. I'm not saying that you ain't got good people up in there, but I'm telling you, the whole mindset is different. And CDC is at federal level, but I'm talking even state level too. It's the same thing. They don't care. A lot of times they don't care. As long as my check keep coming in, hey, listen, 5 o'clock, I don't care. So as a citizen, as a resident, as a human being, you got to take this into your own hands, okay? Someone said, good. Someone said, my brother gave us some water testing strips today. Good. Well, you got a good brother. You got a good brother, okay? And like I said, you can get some of that if you go to, I know Lowe's, Home Depot. I know they have water testing kits there too. But when you get it, I think you have to, for some of them, depending on which kind you get, some of them you actually have to send it off. You got to mail it off. Others, they will give you the results in real time. You know what I'm saying? So that's completely up to you. I want accuracy. I want to make sure it ain't nothing janky going on. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure I'm getting the numbers are right. You know what I'm saying? Because water is life, you know, and you want to make sure that what's coming through your faucet is legit. And I'm saying this, I can't stress this enough, especially if you have younger people in your house, children like babies, and also if you have older people in your house, especially older people who took the, you know what, I'm telling you right now, they're going to need to, you know, you're going to need to get that straight real quick as far as your water is concerned. Get your car washed, get all your filters changed out ASAP. These are things you need to do immediately, you know, doing those things. And what else did I say? Those herbs I went down the list of all those different herbs as well that you should check out. I'll post the list that I just read off to you over on our Samba Tree YouTube page under the community page. Okay. As soon as I'm finished with this broadcast, I'll just post it on the community page. And that way you can just do whatever you need to do with it. But tomorrow on sambatree.com, we're going to be offering something that's going to have all of that if you want it. But you can go to sambatree.com. We have quite a few of those herbs right now in stock that you can order. But tomorrow we should have a lot more of those that we went down the list. And we'll have instructions and all that kind of stuff on that. And that's it. And that will give your body more of a fighting chance against this stuff. Okay. And that's it. Listen, our creator has given us all the things to fight against this stuff. And there's nothing that takes our bodies by surprise. Okay. Our bodies are designed can handle this stuff. We just got to give it the things it needs to fight this stuff off. Okay. But do take everything we shared in this video extremely serious. Share it with as many people who have been impacted, who live in this area as possible. Okay. So that they can have the information. Okay. That's all I have for you guys. Listen, you guys take care. Thank you so much for joining us for this special broadcast. And as we find out more information, we'll be getting that out to the people as quickly as we can. Okay. Make sure you subscribe to that email list so that you'll be the first to know on those matters. Okay. Again, thank you so much. You guys take care, and I'll see you again soon.